So before we dive feet first into today's video, I'm gonna give a lot of you that wanna sit through this part of it a little lesson on physics and a little lesson on what to expect as you go forward into the 3 steps. And I will put timestamps below for those of you that don't wanna hear this information, but when it comes down to swinging the golf club efficiently, a bulk of our club head speed is gonna come right around this 3-foot window between where the club head is to the golf ball. We're gonna see an exponential increase in club head speed in that very small space. Now, how we get the golf club to go really fast from here to here is by using the ground as a source of leverage and by being able to preserve lag and getting rid of it. Now, if you think about small children or even long drive people, if you hand a small child a golf club or even a baseball bat and you tell them to swing it really fast and don't teach them any of the mechanics behind it, then a lot of times what they start to do is they start to figure it out because they're not really strong through their hands and their arms, and they start kind of going down into the ground and then moving up and away from it. I have a 5-year-old son that I haven't given any golf instruction to. You can see it here on the screen that is making a very strong movement out of the ground. It's their natural tendency to try to get their arms to go really fast so that they can make that club head go really fast. And if you look at the opposite end of the spectrum, when you look at these long drive men and women, watch them very closely when they start to let the club fly. You'll see their lead foot flying back. You see a lot of them jumping away from the golf ball. They're moving up and away. We always want to be moving in the opposite direction of the club head. We want to get the club head to go down and away from us really fast down here. But the problem is if you take the sort of long drive sort of approach and you're moving your spine in a vertical fashion, then you're affecting something that's going to help you be incredibly consistent. Yes, long drive people use it and they get away with it because they don't have to hit it into these small little windows like we do when we're playing regular golf. We don't want our spine angle having this sort of big paradigm shift when we get down in front of our body. We want to keep things very neutral, very consistent. So what you're going to learn here today is how to be meticulous about what your trunk, what your core, what your shoulders and your arms are doing down into that delivery position. And we're going to start letting things fly when we get into step number 2, and then we're going to really start picking up the pace. So now let me show you how this is all going to work. Now, in step number 1 and step number 2, you're going to be doing 300 reps at each step. I don't want you doing them all in one practice session. I want you to space them out. In the first step, you can actually do these in your kitchen, your living room, in your simulator, wherever. You're not going to be hitting golf balls, but you're going to be working from an address position to a 9 o'clock position to a delivery position. And if you look at that movement really closely, what you're going to see here is that my head is actually lowered ever so slightly from where it was at address. And you can actually see this looks like a pretty good spot like you would see of most of the players that play at the highest level. Now, how we get there is going to be simplified if you just focus in on how the pressure moves through your lead ankle, how your lead hip and your lead shoulder work, both getting you to a 9 o'clock position, and how you work to get down and through into that same spot. Now, what we're going to be doing is thinking about the lead shoulder and the lead hip basically working down onto the lead side and then rotating back and away as you start to feel that pressure move to the lead ankle. And you might be wondering to yourself, well, why am I not talking to you about pushing down into the ground? Well, the point here is that you're already connected to the ground. You want to be able to move into a very consistent position first before you start trying to pick up the pace with this. So here's how we're going to do it. We can grab any golf club out of your bag. I got an 8-iron here. You can do this with your driver. I know a lot of you are going to probably ask me if you can do that. So we're just getting in front of it. And I want you to have a golf ball down on the ground. And I want you to complete 300 reps where you're going to take and shift your weight to your trail side and turn your lead hip and your lead shoulder in behind the ball. So until you get to a lead arm parallel to the ground position. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take and start to sit down on your lead side, focusing on the pressure moving through your lead ankle. And as soon as you start to feel that downward movement, rotate the shoulder and the hip away simultaneously from the golf ball as much as you possibly can. And what you're going to find is by rotating it away from the golf ball, you're going to land in this spot. And the checkpoints are 90% of my weight underneath my lead ankle, my lead side is stacked up perfectly, my head is down lower than where it was, and I have the handle of the club and the shaft in a really good spot. That's 1 rep. You have to complete 300 of those. And I want you to make sure that you are very disciplined. Focus on the pressure moving down and then moving your lead hip and your lead shoulder back and away from the golf ball as much as you possibly can. Now, step number 2 is going to scare a lot of you, but this is where we get to have a lot of fun. And I would suggest that a lot of you use one of these things when it comes to this step. This is what we call an impact bag. You don't have to have one. You can just take your mom's favorite towels or favorite blankets and pile them up on the ground. These are great because these are going to stop you at a moment in time and have you check your positions. Now, what do you think we're going to do in step number 2 here that makes this a whole lot more fun? Well, we're going to be letting the club now start to swing through that position and start to create kind of a real-like swing. And we're going to do this for another 300 reps. And as I said to you just a moment ago, that position that you feel down there where you feel a little bit lower to the ground and you have all that angle is going to scare the daylights out of you because it's going to feel like you don't have enough space for you to be able to fit the club head into the bag. It's going to feel like everything's going to go straight into the ground. But if you keep the tension levels down in the hands, the arms, and the shoulders, what you're going to find is that the shoulders and the spine and the release are going to shallow things out for you nicely, and you're going to start to feel what it's like to be down in the shot or covering the golf ball for the first time in your golfing lives. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to put the leading edge of the bag where the golf ball would be, and I'm going to do the first few reps here nice and slow. So I'm turning the lead hip and lead shoulder back in behind. I'm moving down and pulling the shoulder and the hip back away. Check the lines to make sure that they're still correct with what you just learned in step number 1. And as you go through these reps, what you can start to do is as you move down into the ground, if you know how to keep your head down, you can start pushing harder, and that's going to create more snap of the club head into the bag. So I'm still staying slow, staying really focused here. Okay, check the positions, make sure they're correct. Now watch as I start getting a little bit more advanced here, and this will happen on days 2 and day 3. Okay, now you can see that I'm starting to move things pretty quickly down there. Make sure you get 300 high quality reps done before you jump into step number 3, which is basically where we're going to start learning how to take this stuff out here to the range and have some fun with it. 600 reps have been just completed. This is not the time where I want you to start throwing all that hard work out the window. This is the time where you can start kind of testing the waters a little bit to see where you're at. I'm out here on the range. You can do this in your simulator. You can do it wherever you like to practice. We're not going to try to hit tons and tons of golf balls when we're first learning this movement. We're going to practice properly. Practice like a pro. Try to get 1% better, and then you can start increasing your ball count over the next few weeks. Now here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you just kind of watch the way that I'm going to practice this just to make sure that I have awareness, and then I'm going to kind of reward myself and hit a golf shot. So I'm going to take myself and get into a good setup position. I've got 8-iron out again. Ball is on the ground just for me to look at. I'm going to shift my lead shoulder, my lead hip in behind the ball. Moving down, rotating it back and away. I'm going to do that a couple times. Now I'm going to try to move through it. Okay. If I felt like I had some good movement there, I'm just going to go ahead and try to hit a shot here, trying to do the same thing. Okay. Probably went a little bit faster than I would want you guys to go. I got excited, but I hit a really good shot there, had good compression on it, and I could feel like the hands and the arms could just chill out. These are small muscles. I got my legs and the system working for me. I could see my left shoulder turning in behind it, moving down and then moving away from it, and the arms were just speeding up past me. As I get proficient with this, I can start adding more of that push down into the ground movement if I want to help it go faster, or I can start adding in more rotation and more width into the swing shape, and that's what's going to help you create more angular momentum in the system. So I'm going to go through a protocol again here. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's drill and hope you guys have some good success with it. Drills like these live on the website all day, every day. And what we really need to know is that these drills require a lot of attention. we need to make sure that you're doing these things properly. We allow you to have access to me as your instructor so that I can actually watch how you're doing these things to help you make the correct movements, to be able to add some awareness of certain areas, or to be able to help you through a protocol that allows you to get this golf ball in the way of it once and for all. Because I know a lot of you work really hard to make swing change and you don't see it come to light. Make sure you come over to the website, join us. I'd love to be able to work with you. Let's make it a great day.